What you're going to do is you're sketching your ideas on the half pieces of paper that I demonstrated for your sketchbook yesterday. And once you have a theme idea, like this is my tree with my leaves, you want to do at least 3 different stamps. Are you videotaping? Tree. Beautiful. You want to do at least 3 different stamps for your inside pages. And then what you'll do is you'll transfer it onto this flexible printing plate the same way you did the linoleum cutting, right? So once I transfer, then you're just going to take an X-Acto knife and you cut out your stamp. Now some of my examples, can someone go over and grab by the X-Acto knives? There's a fish and there's a flower over there. Can someone go grab that stamp? Thank you. Just to kind of show you. Because this one is one big solid shape, but a lot of you have details. I'm just going to do this quick. I want you to take your time. I'm just, as always, trying to get through this. Thank you. Okay, so you see on my examples with the fish, if you have lines in your drawing, you'll cut each shape out separately, and then when you glue it down, those lines will become the spaces between your to create your stamp. So in this one, it's just one solid shape, and because it has a sticky back, what you're going to do is stick it onto a piece of foam board. So I'm going to peel this off. My nail just broke this morning, so it's hard to do. Peel that off, that's the sticky side, and stick that to a piece of foam board. Now this I can cut down a little bit if I want, make it a little bit smaller. You don't have to, but it's recommended so that when you're stamping, you know where your stamp is. Okay, so there's my tree stamp. These are the leaves for my tree. The tree I might just put on the cover instead of the inside. Now the inside pages can be any size you want. I like to do small books, especially since we're doing 3 of them. You have to create 3. Smaller is a lot easier. To fold this paper, so what I want to do to get more exact folds is, besides using a burnishing tool, which is not over here, is to fold it in half and fold your paper back.
Is that how big this is?
No, it doesn't have to be this big. If you want to do a larger book, however you fold it is always your width, and where you cut it is your height. So if I want a really wide, short book, I'll cut it here. If I want it square, I'll cut it there. I could do this whole piece, or I could do it here, but just remember that's then the size of your book. So I want a small book, so I'm going to continue to fold back towards that edge. And this paper's a little harder, so I'm going to be a little more specific. You should be cutting, Mitch, over on the mats, because I don't want shards on the table. Okay? And then fold this back. Okay. Then I'm going to open this and fold it back this way, so I can fold this back onto the now. And fold it back here. So now you want to have at least 7 panels, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8, which I can cut this off if I don't want 8. If I want to do more, I can always attach more. I think in this example here, I did a lot more than 7 panels. Just by attaching, all I did was I glued 2 pieces together so that I could extend it. Okay, so now I'm going to take, this is my old one, so I'm going to use this as my measuring, so my books are all the same size. And let me get in the burnishing tool, make it flat a bit more. And my ruler. So cut along this line the same way when we cut our other books, all at once, so the pages are all the same size. Okay. So what I would do first is I would go ahead and start stamping your design and wait for it to dry. And then you want to cut board books that are the same size. So if I put this here, you can see my book is the same size. I've got my front cover, my back cover, and then I already cut my spine to match that. So just a quick review now. I'm going to line these up the same way we did the last books. I'm going to put a nice big gap in there. You can use the board as your divider here. Right, whoops. Pull that a little bit. Grab the tape. Now because my book is small, you don't have to do it this way, but because it's a small book. Oops. Flip it this way. I'll just do that. Make sure that folds out. I'm just going to go ahead and fold this over. Okay, and make sure I get in those gutter areas. And cut. Okay. So now, this should fit my piece. Now, because each book cover design has to be different, you can use paper. These are specialty papers you can get at A.C. Moore or Michael's, this. Or you can use fabrics, you can use found objects, you can make your own artwork to cover the same way we did like the linoleum print, you can paint, whatever. Now this series I'm doing is for the leaf. So this would be my winter season, so I'm gonna do my trees with light colors, or my leaves with light colors. This will be my spring, this will be summer, and I'm actually going to do a fourth book, which will be fall. I'll make some of my own paper and wrap it with this, so it'll be my fabric example. Okay, so from here, you're going to cover the book the same way, but the only difference is, you don't have to do it this way, but to make it a little bit easier, it's a little tight on these sides. I'd like to actually, I'm going to do it this way, so that it's not so tight. So I want to cut this corner off. I'm going to cut here, here, but this time, normally you would cut here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this extended because I need to wrap it. You also need to cover the inside. Now you could do a different kind of paper on the inside. You could do it like you did it last time. Or what I'm going to do, I'm literally just going to wrap this cover. So, watch what I do. I'm just going to cut this. I could use the X-Acto knife, but I'll just use scissors. So that once I glue it down, when I wrap it, I'm going to wrap it across the inside. But this time too, I also want to cut this short so that it doesn't hang over. So I'll go from here. Whoops. Measure. Okay, so now I'm ready to glue. So I'm going to get my newsprint paper. And again, this is review. I'll get my glue. You can water it down, but I didn't this time. I'm going to see if the thick paint or thick glue works out well. Go all the way. Make sure all my edges are nice and glued up. I want a nice smooth amount. You don't want too much glue, but you definitely don't want not enough, right? There's my glue. Put up and move it. Now, put my book cover down. In the same way we did before, I'm going to start with the short ends first. You want to do the big piece last. And again, with the thicker glue, it should work out a little better. Let me get back in there. Okay. Pull that up. Okay, now for the last piece. See here how that completely covers my side now. So now, yeah, that's pretty cool, right? So here's my outside cover. Now for the inside, when I attach this, I want to figure out, do I want my pages, when you open the book, do you want it to pop open this way? Or maybe it goes this way? It's really up to you. I don't really care. But what I'm going to do is just glue this piece here. Same way. And place this down here. I'm actually just going to close it. Make sure it fits in there. It might be a little bit big. I might want to fix that later. But basically now, I have my book, and hopefully I have my leaves that are growing. But I would stamp it first before you make the book. But start thinking about what you want to bring in from home for your cover, or what you want to paint or design for your front covers.